at National Action Network. For those of you who may not know, Legal Night is brought to you by the National Action Network. Our president and founder is the Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton. The chairman of our board is the Reverend Dr. W. Franklin Richardson. And our House of Justice headquarters is located in the beautiful village of Harlem at 106 West 145th Street. We are in our 11th year of Legal Night, heading towards our 12th year, and very proud of the work that we've done down through the years. And more importantly, we are so thankful for so many of you who have participated with us in Legal Night, because we're here for you, but we are deeply indebted and greatly appreciate all of the attorneys who have been with us down through the years and have participated in our Legal Night programs. Of course, we always begin by acknowledging our Legal Night team at the National Action Network. We could not make Legal Night happen without them. And so we are always grateful, of course, for Ashley Sharpton, who is our czar of everything virtual, electronic, and otherwise, because she really helps to make all of this happen. Patrice Perry, who's the coordinator of Legal Night, among other things, and is a great administrative general at National Action Network. And we appreciate both of them because they together really help facilitate the program every month. We are very thankful to so many of our NAN staff and the volunteers that also participate and help to make things happen. And in that light, we always give great thanks to Cova McCall, Patrice Perry, I've already mentioned, of course, Ashley Sharpton, Brenda Ricketts, Brenda Dock, Arthur Robinson, I'm sorry. I'm going off the top of my head. Arthur Robinson, Brother Al, we always appreciate Brother Al for being a part of the Legal Night team, and he's a great help and assistant to Arthur Robinson in helping the facility at National Action Network be all that it can be for all of you. We always thank some of our crisis team members, like Josh Curitin, who was also a founding member of National Action Network, and so many of the other team. Derek can speak to some of the other team members. We always give great thanks to Maxine Lewis. Maxine, who is no longer with us, but was one of our crisis directors at National Action Network. And she was so instrumental to National Action Network in so many ways that we never forget her. And we always call her name because we're thankful for all that she did while she was here. And many of you may not know, before she became National Action Network's crisis director, she spent the bulk of her career assisting and being a great support staff advocate for the Honorable Percy L. Sutton. And so she has great standing generally in the Harlem community. And we always call Maxine's name, and we love her deeply for all that she does. And along those lines too, and maybe because we're in June and I am looking at Derek, we should also always remember Beverly Alston and our dear sister Teresa Freeman, all of them who, none of them are with us now, but all of them were so key in really bringing National Action Network's Legal Night to light. And so we thank all of them. Of course, we thank our attorneys, and we can't do Legal Night without them. And we have our Legal Night team and we always call off their names. All of them will have a chance to say a very quick hello to you. But our legal night team is Robert Bellison, Andrew Burson, David Bloom, Gary Certain, who is with us and has joined for tonight's program. Happy to see Gary. I believe Gary has been on trial. He's a tremendous litigator, great litigator. And we know when we don't see Gary, it's probably because he's in the middle of trying to convince a jury that his client is been harmed and is entitled. And so we're happy to see Gary with us tonight. Kyle Edmonds, Jeff Emden, and Jeff is with us, and Jeff will also be giving us a very special presentation this evening. So we'll hear more about Jeff and more from Jeff. Carmen Giordano, Pete Gleason, and I've adopted nicknames for some of our attorneys, and I always refer to Pete Gleason as Fearless Pete because that's just the kind of guy he is. He is fearless in so many ways. Maybe that comes from his history as, in addition to an attorney, as a New York City firefighter and police officer, but so it just kind of runs in his blood. Kenneth Gilbert, Ted Kessler, Glenn Myers, Royce Russell, and Royce, of course, is a stalwart here at National Action Network. Brilliant litigator, also a great author, and has a book that all of you should read, Cardiac Arrest. And we're happy to see Royce with us tonight. And Royce is one of those fabulous birthday gentlemen this evening, celebrating a birthday. I believe tomorrow is your actual birthday.
That is correct.
So we're not only happy for that, we wish you happy birthday and glad that you're with us tonight and able to join with us. Joel Schmelken, Joel, who's been the engineer for Legal Night, and among so many other things, he always makes sure that we are well supplied with information for you, and provides in so many ways for Legal Night, and we thank Joel so much. And Joel is also celebrating a birthday this month, and we say happy birthday to you too, likewise, Joel. And again, we'll hear from all of them briefly very shortly. We also have with us, a part of our team also is Denise Service, Wiley Stecklow, who I believe is celebrating his parents' anniversary, and so he may not be with us. Kareem Vessup, and I'm just trying to look around real quick to see if I forgot any of our attorneys. I see Ken Gilbert is with us. I called his name earlier, but I also see that he's with us. And if I forgot any of the attorneys, somebody shout out and let me know. But again, we want to thank all of the attorneys for all that they do and contribute to Legal Night, and we should give them a big, tremendous hand. We always are thankful to some of our emeritus founding members of our Legal Night team. And of course, that's the Honorable New York State Judge Senria Edwards and the Honorable J. Michelle Sweeting, and a longtime member of the Legal Night team and always made her contributions is the Honorable Kim Parker, and of course the Honorable Tanya Kennedy, who also sits on the appellate division of the state of New York. So there's a lot of legal giants that are part of Legal Night, and we're so proud to have all of them with us tonight, and so many of them that are with us for so many of our legal nights. And again, we couldn't make this happen without them. As I said, we're going to have a special presentation from Attorney Jeff Emden tonight. He's going to be speaking a little bit about clients' rights and responsibilities. We always remind people that we do legal night essentially in 3 phases. The first are the presentations, and again tonight will be from Attorney Jeff Emden. The second part is your part of the program, where we allow you to ask your questions, make your statements, and express yourself. We always ask to remember that there are a number of people that will be doing likewise. And so when you do get your opportunity, we want you to be concise and as brief and as possible, only to be courteous to the others that will be coming behind us. And then we always try to leave some private time. Now, because we are still virtual and we're hoping to kick again our live programming, we will always remain virtual, but we still are waiting really to be safely back in person at the House of Justice. So what we do instead is some of the attorneys will put their information so that you can reach them privately, because there may be things that come up that you will need to speak with them about privately. So once again, we want to thank everyone for being with us for legal night. We look forward to a great evening. And before we start, I first want to go to our dear sister, Patrice Perry. She's got something, some special words to add to us tonight. You're on mute. You're gonna unmute yourself, Patrice.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You should know that. You remuted yourself.
I'm on mute.
There you go.
You can hear me now?
Yep.
Good. Good evening, all. Thank you for joining us. We're very excited to have you on our monthly legal night. Just wanted to give a few shout outs from our czar, Ashley Sharpton, myself, and the core staff that makes this happen. First, we want to give a special shout out to one of the brightest minds in the world, in the nation, Attorney Michael Hardy. Happy early birthday. His birthday is on Saturday. We want to also give a shout out to another great mind, Attorney Joe Smelkin, whose actual birthday is today. We also want to give another shout out to another bright mind, Attorney Royce Russell, whose birthday is tomorrow on 7/1. And last but not least, Attorney Steckler, who wasn't able to be with us tonight, but we want to give him a huge shout out, another great mind, for July the 8th. Happy birthday, great men of July. Please enjoy it. And you guys, you look younger and younger. On behalf of the czar and the entire team, thank you. Thanks for all that you do.
What is it with a cancer and an attorney? What's the relation here? I don't understand.
Hey, well, you know, July is just that kind of a great month, basically, and June, of course. All right, thank you, Patrice. All right, so we are going to now go over to our crisis director and also our New York State coordinator, the one and only Honorable Derek Perkinson. And Derek, you will take it from here, you and Joel. So welcome. Thank you,
Attorney Hardy. I appreciate you and everything you've done. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to all my attorney friends on here who are fighting the good fight every day. I want to thank Reverend Sharpton and Attorney Michael Hardy for bringing me to this organization 4 years ago and giving the chance on a guy like me. So thank you all for being here. I'm hoping that we can serve and help as many people as possible. So please write your comments in your chat or your name, and you get to share your story to the attorneys. And hopefully one of the attorneys can be able to direct you or help you in some capacity. If all else fails, you will be sent back to me and we will work on it together. So with that being said, we have a great presentation tonight. And I'm looking forward to by our good attorney, Jeff Emden.
Okay. Should I begin, Derek? I didn't know if you want. Okay. So, we picked our topics a number of months ago. Little did I know that when it came to my turn that we would have the overturning of Roe versus Wade, gun control legislation, the January 6th hearings, the ruling on the Environmental Protection Agency today. So there's a lot of stuff going on, and I think that my topic sounds a little bit boring in comparison to all of that newsworthy information, so I apologize for that. But this is a topic that's designed for people that need attorneys or are going to enter into some type of litigation, and they're looking for an attorney, and they meet with an attorney, and there's mutual interest. And so if there's mutual interest between the law firm and the client, normally the next step would be to enter into a retainer agreement. And unfortunately, the way retainer agreements are written, you oftentimes need a separate attorney to even understand what you're signing and getting into. So I'm going to try to break it down. And there's different kinds of retainer agreements. There's, retainer agreements that are hourly. There are retainer agreements that cover the whole entire case. But by and large, what we're going to talk about here today is what's called the contingency retainer agreement. And those are used for cases that usually involve personal injury, medical malpractice, wrongful arrest, police brutality. It's litigation in which you become basically business partners with your attorneys. So the attorney's fees are dependent upon the outcome of the case. And normally the way it works is that here in New York State, that the attorney gets 1/3 of the total settlement plus whatever expenses they've outlaid. Now, on the other hand, if the attorney is unsuccessful and there is either no recovery or minimal recovery, well, that's on the attorney. You don't owe them anything else other than giving them true and accurate information. You wouldn't be on the hook for their time or their expenses. The attorney is taking all the risk, so they really have to what's called vet the case, understand and do due diligence before taking the case and after the case. So what I use is usually a New York State approved retainer agreement. And what we should do is go over it so you understand it in the event that you need to engage with an attorney. So the first thing that you're going to see on a retainer agreement is the names of the parties, the client and the name of the law firm. You have to understand, if you're hiring a law firm, you're hiring that firm. You're not basically hiring that attorney. You're hiring the attorney that works for the firm. And there's a reason why it's written that way. Because a law firm is usually comprised of paralegals, associates, filing clerks. And when you're engaging the whole law firm, your communications could then be covered as confidential between each of the members of the firm. So that would be covered within the scope of the agreement. Now, if the law firm screws up, you're going to sue that law firm in the event that it's malpractice as against that attorney. The second thing that you're going to see on the retainer agreement is the scope of the agreement. Now, because you're hiring the attorney for one thing doesn't mean that you're hiring them to do everything in the case or other matters outside of the case. For instance, you may hire somebody for a motor vehicle accident case, and you go to trial and you win, and then the other side appeals. Well, the attorney that's the trial attorney may not be an appellate attorney, and it may require you to go outside of the agreement to hire an appellate attorney to defend and show why that the agreement or the verdict should stand. So sometimes I do matrimonial cases. And in the matrimonial case, we may be litigating, you may be hiring me for custody in family court. And then that custody case may end, and there may be what's called a request for a modification of custody or a modification of child support. That would require another separate agreement. So you need to look at the scope of the agreement. The other thing is to understand that the agreement does not take effect until both sides sign the agreement. So you can't say, well, I consulted with this attorney, I hired an attorney. No, you're not hired until both sides countersign the retainer agreement and the statement of client's rights and responsibilities. And oftentimes, what the agreement may say is that it's subject to investigation. And that's because at the very inception of the case, the attorney is really just relying upon the information that you are furnishing to them. So it's really, the case is only as good as the information that you give to us. In the event that we find other things out, that may affect how we can represent you or whether that you have a case. But the attorney cannot just simply leave you flat and dry. They have to give you enough notice to tell you, look, we cannot do this case, or they have to meet the filing deadline requirements so that you don't blow a deadline and are precluded from suing. But that's why it's very important that when you meet with an attorney, that you give them all of the information, the good and the bad and the indifferent, because we need to know everything when we take on a case. There's no sense in taking on a case only to learn that there's a videotape out there that shows something completely different than what you're telling us. Okay, then the next section of my retainer agreement allows for discussions of alternative dispute resolution. Now, not every case has to go to trial. Sometimes you can go to arbitration, sometimes you go to mediation, but you need the approval of your client to either engage in that kind of negotiation. And as an aside, an attorney can't settle the case without your approval. You basically run the show. The attorney can give you information, but if you feel that, no, I understand what the attorney told me, but I still want to go to trial because I think the case is worth more, that's okay. You are in the driver's seat, and the attorney is bound to do what you say. Now, on the other hand, on the retainer agreements, it allows for both parties to withdraw from this agreement. So once you sign the agreement, you're not stuck with the attorney. If you feel that the attorney is not doing a job, not answering your phone calls, not being responsive, not pushing your case along, you're free to go hire somebody else. The attorney would have what's called a lien for the work that they've done up to that point in time. But you are not stuck with that attorney if you don't feel that he or she is acting in your best interest. On the other hand, the client has a responsibility. The client has to be responsive if the attorney is calling them, writing them a letter, emailing them. If you move, you have to notify us. If we send you documents, you have to review them. You have to, if you want to gain some type of compensation for injuries, you have to sign HIPAA authorizations so that we can get your medical records. And if there was a prior history, you have to sign HIPAA authorizations for your prior medical history. You have to prepare for depositions. You have to be present for depositions. So it's a two-way street. And if the client is not being responsive, the attorney can apply to the court to be allowed to be removed from the case and retain a lien on the case. So that also is usually part of the agreement as well. Now, earlier I told you that the attorney usually gets a third and plus the cost. Now, what would cost be? Cost could be anything from filing fees. Every time you file a document in court, you have to pay a fee. It could be for a process server to serve the other side. It could be an investigator to obtain witnesses and information. It could be the court reporter fees for depositions, medical records fees, anything out of pocket, copy fees, traveling to court. All of those things are usually detailed in the retainer agreement. And if you don't understand it, don't sign the agreement. You really have to understand what you're getting into because it has to work for both sides. Oftentimes, a case gets settled and we do what's called a lien search on the client, because the government wants to see if you owe any money, taxes or Medicaid or Medicare, or even parking tickets or child support. If there's any lien that's against the client, that does not come out of the attorney's fees. Excuse me, that comes out of the client's share of the expenses, because that really has nothing to do with the clients, with the attorneys. It's all on the clients. So if there is a outstanding parking tickets that have to be satisfied, they're going to grab that from the settlement, and that would come out of your share. Let's see what else we have here. Again, I would say that the appellate counsel or additional counsel, that's also something separate. If you have an infant or somebody that has a conservator, because the plaintiff is not competent, then you would need court approval prior to the time that the case is settled, and then the court will set the fees and set the expenses and whether or not they approve of the settlement. That too should be in your agreement. We also recommend that clients don't take out any loans against the proceeds. So oftentimes in the middle of the night, you see these case funding companies that say, "Oh, we can advance against your lawsuit $10,000 or $20,000," but they're not doing that out of the goodness of their hearts. They're doing that because they're going to be charging you somewhere like 20%, 25% interest rate. We recommend that you avoid that at all costs, because there is no guarantee how long the case is going to take. And the longer the case goes on, the greater those fees become, and you're going to basically be wind up with nothing. Same thing with making statements or going on social media. We put in our agreement, we do not recommend that you have a large presence on social media or that you discuss the case on social media, because anything that you say can be used against you, or anything that you do can be used against you. For instance, if you say that you can't walk, you're so injured that you can't do your normal everyday functions, and then you're out there on Twitter or Instagram and you're at parties and dancing, obviously the other side's going to use that against you. So we put in the agreement, don't do that. If you file for bankruptcy, the same thing, that is off on your share. Privileged communications, anything that you say to us is privileged. But if then you go out and then you start talking on the public or on Instagram or on Facebook and said, "Oh, my attorney told me this," well, now you are violating the confidentiality, and the privilege may be attacked by the other side. And those communications that we thought were private may no longer be so. So we put that in the agreement. Also, we put in that we can't give you any type of tax advice, and that there's a duty to maintain records and provide information. Now, after you get all of that and you understand all of what we discussed, then the second thing would be to get a copy of the Statement of Clients' Rights and Responsibilities. That is the attorney's responsibility to you. And that covers a number of topics. We're supposed to work diligently. We're supposed to use our best efforts, even though we can't guarantee an outcome. We have to guarantee that we use our best efforts and that we diligently research and investigate the case, that we try to correspond with you or contact you within 24 hours of the time that you have a question or that you need a response, that we will give you copies of the papers if you so request it, or if you want to have a meeting in our office and you want to go over your case, that should not be pushed to the side. Basically, the attorney has to be responsive to you. It is under this type of mutual arrangement that the best success, the best chance for success of your case can proceed. So I practiced mostly in the area of false arrests and police brutality. And some of my biggest issues are getting the clients to follow up on their medical care, or going to fill up the prescriptions. Because I tell my clients, they are going to ask you everything about your life. So if you're saying that you went to the doctor and the doctor comes out with their medical records and they said that we recommend physical therapy for 12 weeks and you don't do it, then the implication is that you didn't need to do it. Or if they gave you a prescription with 3 refills and you only filled it 1 time, the implication is that you must have gotten better after 30 days, because they are going to get copies of these records. So it is a two-way street. You have witnesses, bring the witnesses with you so that we can prepare and find out what those witnesses saw or heard or felt on the date that you were injured, because we are trying to fit all these pieces of a puzzle together so that we have the greatest chance of a successful outcome. And it all starts with the foundation of the retainer agreement, statement of clients' rights and responsibilities. And then normally at that same time, we have the HIPAA authorizations that were signed. If there was an arrest, we have authorizations for release of police reports, court records, district attorney's records, so that we can obtain all of these files for a better chance to fill in all the pieces of the puzzle. So that is my non-sexy presentation with the start and commencement of the action. I will say that a year ago today, I thought my topic was a lot more interesting. And the reason why I'm bringing that up, because it was actually in the news yesterday. Last year at this time, I presented the story about Bruce's Beach. And that was a story that was taking place almost 100 years ago in Manhattan Beach, California. And it was a Black family that purchased 2 parcels of land that later became Manhattan Beach, that was purchased for $1,000 each parcel. And it was a private beach for the African-American community to come down and have a beach and a club, because they were excluded from so many other types of beaches and resorts. And the community, in their uprising, tried to do everything they could do to make this beach unsuccessful. The first thing they did is, and the police were conspirators in this, and so was the town council over 100 years ago. The first thing they did was they put up these no parking signs that only allowed people to park by the beach for 10 minutes. So if you wanted to go to the beach, you'd have to park like 20 minutes away. So trying to dissuade traffic from this beach. Then the next thing they did is, when that didn't work, is that the town took the property for eminent domain, claiming that they were going to make parks and use it for the community. And they never did that. And they offered the family, the Bruce family, a pittance for this, maybe $14,000 for this land. And it was worth more than that. And the Bruces went to court, and they were stonewalling court to the extent that they could no longer afford to litigate this fight. And they had to eventually sell it for some nominal amount, like $12,000, on the land that's worth like $50 million today. So a number of years ago, this issue was brought up to the town council, and there were a number of lawsuits through the years by the Bruce family. And finally, the council decided, let's put this to vote, and they could never agree on it. And yesterday, and I presented this a year ago, yesterday, the town council voted and approved, and this is sort of like reparations, to return the land to the Bruce family under the understanding that the town is going to lease the land from them for $500,000 a year for 20 years. And then at the end of the 20 years, they will have to pay the Bruces, I think, at least $20 million. So even though they haven't been made whole, and they're generations of the family that have suffered from this, this is considered, really, really novel thinking for the town council, because it may open the floodgates for other litigation throughout the country and serve as a model to bring families that were had their property taken and their finances and their future stolen from them, and trying to repair and make things right. And although it never will be made right entirely, this was, I was really happy to see finally that there was some positive news that came out yesterday. And that's what I have for today.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeff Emden. That was a great presentation. Thank you very much. I hope you guys are paying attention. Before we get it started, I just want to see if anyone has any questions about what Attorney Jeff Emden just presented. Does anyone have any questions? I have a Galaxy S20 Ultra 5G hand up. Would you like to have a question or comment?
Hi, everyone. I was really wanting to ask a question to any attorney on here.
Okay, we'll get to that section. Do you have a question on what Jeff Emden just presented?
No.
Okay, just hold your question. We will get to you in order. And remember, we're getting to everyone in order by the way you typed in the chat. Holly, I see your hand up. Do you have anything to speak to Jeff Emden or ask him about on his presentation?
What's the best way to vet an attorney? Because you're not given much time.
Okay, hold on 1 second. We'll get your attorney tonight to speak to. I promise you that. So thank you much. Before we get started to our next section, if anyone doesn't have any questions about the presentation, it was a great presentation. Thank you, Jeff, for going over that with us. We need to know that. I need everyone to know that we also on the call, we have Debbie Clark. She's a crisis coordinator here with the House of Justice. She does a great job helping to facilitate resources that are needed for a lot of individuals who call in crisis. Here at the crisis, we have a 4-step crisis process. The first step, if you call the National Action Network, after a discovery conversation with myself or Debbie Clark or any of the valuable crisis volunteers we have, we will have you arrange a conversation with an attorney. Now, most of our attorneys are here in New York State. However, a lot of our attorneys have friends in other states. Debbie Clark will research attorneys in other states as well. A lot of times we come up empty with certain states, but just bear with us. So the first step in the crisis process at the National Action Network, step 1, you will have a conversation with an attorney. He's not your attorney. He's not consulting you. He's going to have a conversation with you and maybe guide you in the right direction. Step 2 is we want to connect you to the local NAN chapter in your state and your city to give you the support you need on the ground. Step number 3, due to the large reputation of our leader and founder, Reverend Dr. Al Sharpton, we reach out to every local elected official in your state to help facilitate the resources they have. And most local elected officials have something called constituent services. So that's what we try to plug you in. And coming from NAN, they are a little more attentive to your needs. The last step, being that the National Action Network is a faith-based organization, we encourage individuals to reach out to your local clergy members, large pastors and churches, or being that we partner with a lot of community-based organizations, we refer you to a community-based organization that is in your discipline of crisis or need. I always give the example here in New York City. If we come across a domestic violence crisis case, we have a domestic violence organization we refer them to called WARM. We All Really Matter, and they do a great job and have a whole bunch of resources. They have relationships with the police department for order protection, a whole bunch of other stuff for housing, everything. So I try to hook you up with a community-based organization in the discipline you called in your city, in your state. So those are the 4 steps of the crisis. A lot of times it's hard for us to help everyone. Some of your issues are very complicated. Some of your issues are very difficult, and some of the attorneys could do but so much. So I know a lot of these attorneys that work with, matter of fact, all of them go above and beyond the call of duty, but they do the best they can. So just please bear with us, and then we try to help you. So as this goes here, we have an order. I have it in order. I will call your name, and you will say where you're from, the city and state. Give a brief, a summary of your crisis, and we'll have an attorney to see if they can help you based on what you said to us. Okay. So with that being said, our first crisis caller for the night will be Tay Yance. Tay Yance said being targeted by the LAPD. So they are in the West Coast. Who would like to take this? Tay Vance, are you here, Tay Vance?
Hi, yes, I'm here.
Yes, Tay, how are you, miss? Thank you for coming on. Thank you for coming to Legal Night, and please share your crisis legal issue.
Yes, thank you. I'm actually from New York. But yeah, so I was assaulted by a male Delta employee while trying to leave Los Angeles, and I have been trying to find representation in regards to that. And then a few days before that, my husband, we were in the backseat of a vehicle that was pulled over by LAPD, where he was pulled out of the back without them doing any investigation. There are just different things. But yeah, I had called into you guys, and that's how I found out about the Zoom call. So I really did just want to take the opportunity to connect with you guys. There's a lot more that I would like to go
Slow
over.
down, Tay. I know it's a lot. I see you.
Yeah, sorry.
But we need to get a grip on what's going on. So when did this happen in California?
Yes, in October.
This happened this past October. Okay,
Yes.
Joe, you have any advice for the young lady? Take it off mute. Yeah.
Yes, I got it. Okay. Did you ever file any papers or have an attorney file any papers on your behalf with the County of Los Angeles or with any sort of a internal affairs bureau with the LAPD?
No, I know that there's an incident number for the assault. I did call around to a few attorneys in the Los Angeles area. I'm not sure if it's due to the fact that it's Delta or probably some other things that I am willing to disclose maybe in a more of a private conversation. But we haven't had the best luck in regards to finding any representation.
All right. You live in Los Angeles?
No, I'm from New York. I
Right.
was in Los Angeles traveling for work. So I'm a journalist.
Where do you live?
I live in the Poconos, but I'm from New York.
Oh, okay. Look, I have a friend on Olympic Boulevard. Do you know where that is?
No.
All right. What I'd like you to do is this. If you can, I'm going to be out of the office for about a week or so, but you can call my office tomorrow and
Okay.
take down some information, and they'll call me from the road, and I can probably try to make a connection with a friend of mine in Los Angeles.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Okay.
I would greatly
I'll put my
appreciate
name
it.
in the chat. My name's Joel Schmelz.
Thank you,
I'll
Joe.
put the name and number in the chat for you. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. And then I think my husband wanted to say some things as well.
Yeah, and I just
Sure.
wanted to add to that, like this has just been a weird situation for us because we have what we would consider a slam dunk case with like video footage of the gentleman clearly hitting her hand, trying to smack her phone just for no reason. Then we also have video footage of the police roughing me up, taking me out the car, putting my hands behind my back as if they're going to put handcuffs on me. Never did it. I don't know if it was a scare tactic they were trying to use, but there was no reason to pull us over anyway. During like the prime time of COVID, and everyone that we've spoken to, 15 lawyers now, some have attempted to act like they're going to take the case. Some just blatantly won't take it. Some are just using the excuse we're too small, or some have told us that we don't have a case. And it's just been like something that, with the information that we have, once again, I thought would be a slam dunk case. And now it's just, as we go down this rabbit hole, it's just been a very eye-opening thing. And at this point, we're actually looking to try to maybe get a civil rights or attorney or something, because I think that the touch and texture of the treatment that's been put on us from this situation has just been very weird, very distasteful. And it's really just making us just reevaluate what we're going to do with this whole situation.
Okay, well, thank you for this. Well, listen, like I said, the 4 steps crisis process. What I want to do is also connect you guys to our LA chapter out in California. The chapter president is Lori Candice.
Okay.
And we'll talk to her. She got resources on the ground. And we also have you reach out to your local elected official in this case.
Okay. All right.
You have to reach out to your local elected officials. There's 3 levels of government I want you to reach out to. First is city council, the assembly, and the state senate. From that point, I know there's a lot of groups on the ground fighting against police misconduct. And I think we need to get in touch with those groups on the ground in LA because again, they know the ground better than we do in New York State.
Yeah, and I'm like
That's
blindly.
what I'll do there.
That's
I put my contact information in chat. Give me a call.
I think Tate grabbed that.
1:30 after 1:30 p.m. Thank you very much, Tate. What's your name, husband?
I'm gonna be here just listening in and just
What's your name?
My name is Mr. Rollins, Donnell Rollins. Kind of like
Donnell.
a comedian, Ashy Larry. I know every time we're out with comedians, they always say it. That's Donnell Rollins, the marketer. But
Are you Donnell Rollins?
Yeah, no, I worked with them before. I worked with
Okay.
Dave Chappelle. Like we did like a little light tour with JB Smooth, Mike Epps, a bunch of different people. But I also worked really heavily in the entertainment business as well with a lot of, entertainers from all walks and business genres of entertainment.
Well, that's another strategy too. For all that's on the call, we are a civil rights organization, grassroots. We try to build coalitions to help us on the fights that we do have. So having that type of backing or following will help you, be heard. And that's all we want to do. So thank you for coming and thank you for sharing tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you.
I see a Legal Night has a hand up. Legal Night, you have a question? Okay. So we're going to move on to the next on the list in the chat was Laura Lee Rom. Laura Lee Rom. Laura Lee Rom.
Okay, yes, that's me.
Okay. Lurleen Romy. Okay.
Okay.
How can we help you? Where are you from, Miss Lurleen?
I am from Seattle, Washington.
Seattle. Okay.
And I've been running for my life. I've been running. It's a crime, it's an organized crime group that have been sex trafficking me for quite a while. I've been trying to get away from it. They started by
Hold on, Miss Rom. Haven't you and I spoken on the phone?
Yes, and you asked me to call in for legal nights.
Okay. Do any attorney want to help her out with this? If not, we can talk again, Ms. Laura, about what we can do for you in this situation.
Ms. Rom, didn't you call my office, Ms. Rom? This is Joel Schmiller.
Yes, I did.
Okay,
and I called again and again.
I know, and I believe that we tried to get you someone, and I made a few calls on your behalf with an attorney in the state of Washington and wasn't really able to help you.
That's why I'm way up here in New York now.
All right. That's what I recommend that you do is, I know you spoke with Mr. Perkinson as well. And had you contacted the local bar association in the state of Washington? Because that's always a good bet to do.
I have. I've talked to civil rights attorneys, criminal attorneys, and no one would take my case.
All right. Did you call the King County Bar Association?
Yes.
All right. And who did you speak with over there? Do you recall who you spoke with?
No.
Because I may be able to get you somebody at that bar association.
Yes, they give you a list of attorneys in that category to call, and I have called those attorneys.
Okay, so listen, I just got it in the chat. Our crisis coordinator, Debbie Clark, said give her a call tomorrow. She put the information in the chat, and she will follow up with you tomorrow to see what resources we can provide you at this time, okay?
Yeah, I need to find a safe place to go.
I know you were here Saturday. You were here Saturday. I know.
Right.
But we are not a shelter. You have to go to a shelter. You have to go to, again, the 4 steps crisis. You speak to an attorney, which you have. We connect you with your local Lien chapter, which you have. Now it's time for you to reach out to your local elected official to see what resources they have. And the clergy that's in your community, they also have places for you to find sanctuary. Because you need some assistance. And we're gonna help you. So give Debbie Clark a call tomorrow and we'll work more on that, okay?
What about that organization WARM you just mentioned?
But they do domestic violence.
Okay, so that's not similar to my situation?
This doesn't sound like domestic violence. I mean, But yeah, let's call tomorrow and we'll take care of tomorrow, okay?
Okay.
All right. So next up I have is Galaxy X20. You have a case in Louisiana, pro se litigant, and I think this is my friend Maureen Francis.
No,
No?
this is not your friend. This is Whitney. I talked to you on the phone.
Okay.
I'm the
Miss
lady
Whitney.
from Louisiana. No
Yes.
attorneys here for
Thanks for
civil
calling,
rights.
Miss Whitney.
Yeah.
So what is your crisis? Please share.
Well, I'm a pro se litigant and I'm trying to get, I was pursuing my master's of social work at Walden University and they refused me as a disabled person.
Okay, that's not right. And that is a violation. That
Yes,
is
to the
a
ADA,
violation.
Americans with Disabilities Act. So I'm needing an attorney there. I'm in need now here in federal court.
Did you look for an attorney in Louisiana?
Yes, I've exhausted all of my remedies. I've called OCR, the U.S. Department of Justice, ACL. I've been everywhere. They don't have anyone here. Anyone.
Did you check in with your local elected official?
Yes, I've talked to the congressman, Mike Johnson's office, everybody.
And no
I have a
one-
whole notebook,
and
like
no
a
one was-
5-inch binder.
Okay, you need a case for a case to be a litigant, pro se.
Well, I am pro se. I just need someone to represent me.
In Louisiana, right?
Yes. Do
Okay.
you have a African American, maybe somebody there that can represent me, like civil rights? Because we have people that say civil, but it's only for like child support and things like that, divorces.
All right. Call tomorrow. We're gonna have Debbie Clark research that in Louisiana. All our attorneys here, I don't think any of them have any resource or friends in Louisiana to tap into to be able to help you. But I'll have Debbie Clark do some research behind the scenes.
Look, I might know someone in Shreveport. It's been a while since I contacted this friend of mine. If you want, this is Joel Schmelkin. Again, I mentioned before, I'm going to be out of the office, but if you can call the office tomorrow, you'll take down some information. I don't know if he can help you. His name is Arsenal. I don't want to give his name and number on the chat right now, but maybe he can help. If you just call the office tomorrow, we'll try to see what we can do.
Thank you, Joe. Yeah,
Sure.
call tomorrow, Joe tomorrow.
Arsenal, yeah,
And
Mr.
Debbie.
Arsenal.
Can you send me an inbox message?
Yeah, I put my name, Joel Schmelkin, and I gave you my telephone number. Just check the chat, you'll find it there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Ms.
Yeah, he's in
Whitney.
Shreveport. Okay, thanks.
Okay,
Thank you.
you for that. Thank you, Joe.
Okay.
The next up on our crisis night, our legal night, excuse me, is Christopher Hendrick, racially profiled in Las Vegas. Christopher, are you on?
Yes, hello.
Thank you. Please share your crisis. When did this happen?
It happened the May 10th weekend of May 10th in Las Vegas.
Last year?
This year.
Oh, it happened this year.
Yes.
Okay. You want to share what happened?
Yes, me and my girlfriend, we were staying at the Palms Casino, and we was at the pool, and basically we was had racial discrimination. We had a little problem with our bill, and we were trying to get it solved, and basically the manager he didn't want to help us out, and he claimed that we refused to pay the bill, so he forced us out with heavy security guards.
Armed security. But when they first came over to us, we were the only Black people there, and no one was serving us. And when she did serve us, she served us with, a heavy attitude, and then she rung up everything wrong. And then we asked for a manager, and it was just he didn't want to help us. So he brought security over. However, when we ordered the food, she asked us at that point, how would you like to pay? And we told her, you can charge it to the room. We gave her a credit card and his ID, and he signed to keep the tab open. So when we told her you messed up on the bill, she said, we don't take anything off because of COVID. We don't take food back. And we were like, we wasn't asking for anything to be taken off. You rung up the food wrong. And she just storms off when the management came, he had an attitude. And I said, you know, we were trying to complain about the situation of her just fixing the bill. We didn't come for any trouble, but you came over here with an attitude. And from then on, he brought security over, like several security officers. And we were just sitting here peacefully like, what is going on? This cannot be happening. So they stood over Chris and they said, we need to see your ID. And he's like, for what? And then from that point, it were like, you're being 86 banned from the pool per management. We recorded everything. Management started laughing and he threw up the peace sign like, bye. And I'm like, I need to speak to a manager. Like this, we didn't do anything. We were just, you know, peacefully sitting here. We just ordered food and we paid to stay here. Why are y'all kicking us out? And they were like, you refused to pay the bill. And I said to the manager, I said, how did we refuse to pay the bill when you have his credit card and our room number and we signed to keep the tab open? And they said, well, you have to leave. We're going to do an investigation. And I said, well, why didn't you investigate before you decided to kick us out? And I said, where the security guard that he brought over was the only other Black person there. And he turned around and said, I'm so sorry, guys. And I said, why don't you ask the security what happened? And he said, well, I'll ask him later and I'll investigate later. I said, this is not right. And I said, can you please do your investigation before you have already humiliated us at this pool? Everyone has their phones out. We're being kicked out and we're staying here for 3 days. And he said, if you don't leave now, and they had guns at the pool, then we're going to kick you out the hotel as well. And I'm like, this is not right. And I said, you know, so they basically was pushing us out, almost like he was about to attack us out the pool. But literally, we wasn't loud. We were still very calm. All of this is on video. And I said, well, you know, somebody needs to investigate before you decide to kick us out. And I told him in front of everyone that's on video, we're being discriminated against. I don't see any. He said, well, we have Black people here. And I said, I don't see one, except for the security guard that you refused to come over here so that he can tell you. And he said, ma'am, you have to leave. We literally did nothing. She run the order up wrong. And then we still have the receipts. We have it on video. And they still refuse to listen. It's just crazy. We couldn't even believe it was happening.
Wow, I'm so sorry that happened. That does sound like a racial situation, a lot of racial overtones. Do you guys live in Las Vegas?
We live in Atlanta. We were visiting for my birthday.
Visiting from out of town.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, Gary, I see we have also want to welcome Cal Edmonds is on, Attorney Edmonds is on as well. He joined us, Peter Gleason. Anyone have any idea, Joe, Jeff, Gary, Kenneth? This is terrible.
I could drop in the chat the name of an attorney who practices out there and maybe he might be able to help. Okay, so I'll drop the name in the chat of Casey Xavier.
Casey Xavier. So Christopher and wife, please get that number. Also, we have a very strong chapter in Las Vegas. Again, the 4 steps work. He may have some resources with attorneys and other things. We have a very strong chapter president, Pastor Robert Bush. I will connect you with them as well. I'll put that in the chat in a couple of seconds. And they coincidentally, they won the chapter of the year last year. So that you're
Eric, can they also have you made a complaint with the Department of Consumer Affairs and the hotel hospitality industry? I think that in Better Business, I would put pressure on the hotel by filing these complaints.
Okay. All right.
Did you file a complaint?
I just looked it up. There is a Hotel Hospitality Association, and you should see if there's if this hotel is a member of it, and that would be a real bad mark on their record if this got out. Sometimes the best thing is to bring these things to light.
Okay. All right.
Thank you for that.
I have one question for this couple. This is Pete Gleason. What hotel casino did this happen at?
The Palms Casino.
Or the Palms, which was just recently purchased, I think. Now, were you at the Palms proper or the Palms Place?
We were at the casino.
The casino and the pool there. Yeah, I mean, and depending, I mean, as Jeff was saying, this is outrageous. And depending on, and when you go through something like this, it always feels over the top outrageous, which it sounds like it was. And, you know, and if you have video, sometimes the greatest result is just to, you know, make this public. So I'd be interested to see the video, and, you know, I have contacts in the media, and if it's as outrageous as you describe, the media could pick it up, and then, you know, the hotel would be in a better position to, or would be more apt to say, you know, we want to compensate you for this, because just being kicked out of a pool. Now, it's clear it was race-based, right? It was motivated by your race. If you were the only people of color at the pool and you were the only ones targeted, that I think we can all agree on. But you know, this is just so outrageous, and we see it happening more and more. And how do I, on this chat, I could give you my telephone number. I'd be interested to see the video to see if I think it's, you know, a media outlet would run with this.
Okay.
I
Thank you,
believe.
Peter.
Okay.
So Peter will put his contact information in the chat. Please capture it. If you can't, or anything, call me at the office. Our number is 877-626-4651 for anyone who needs it. That's the direct dial. It will be in the chat. 877-626-4651. If you miss an attorney's number, email, please call the central number and we will take care of you. Thank you for that. Sorry that you guys experienced that. Thank you, Peter. Thank you, Gary, for tapping in as well. That's terrible. And next up is our good friend, regular caller on this night, Diane Signorelli. Diane's a former New York State Assembly member. She was assaulted by police years ago in Staten Island, and she's still fighting for justice, and she needs an attorney to go to court.
What do you mean years ago? They're still abusing me. I got them on the video last week. You know, I'm not Rudy Giuliani, you know.
Hey, Diane, good to see you this evening. So what can we help you with this? What can we help you with, Diane?
Oh, I like that guy, Jeff. He's my style. Jeff, you would love me.
Diane, this is not a date in Zoom. This is a legal night Zoom.
This is business, Jeff.
Yes, business, please, Diane.
Jeff, I'm hysterical. Anyway, I spoke to the courts of appeal. And because my case is there and I did such a great thing, my transparency runs from, oh, my bird. Stop it. I have, you know, I have to play music for the bird during this. Stop it. Anyway, I'm sorry. My case is in the courts of appeal. And they said I have to get the subpoenas because cops are assaulting me in church, the grocery store, in the bank. The integrity control officer, Ahmed, is playing games with the ADA, Rihanna Latour. My family works in the DA's office. My cousin's the DA's secretary. And his wife, the ADA, it's hysterical, you know, nepotism and everything. Because I'm a whistleblower, you know, and I have integrity. I've shut down St. Christopher Ottilie and Sea Cliff, Long Island, all by myself, undercover for abusing autistic disabled children. Nobody patted me on the back, and I really don't care about that either. And then in 2014, I shut down Halmetta Regional Animal Shelter with my group, the Reformers. So, you know, I'm a whistleblower. I worked for the Board of Elections for 50 years. I was in charge of my own electoral district.
Diane, tell us what you need.
I need help. I'm not full of crap. I need somebody to help me get these 3 subpoenas because Rudy Giuliani gets a pat on the back. I got a broken jaw. I got a fractured spine. I got broken. Everything is
okay, Diane.
Every assault.
Diane, okay, hold on a second.
And I go to physical therapy still.
Jeff,
okay.
Jeff Emden, would you give her a call tomorrow? I think that'll make her day. Give her a call tomorrow, Jeff. Please, Jeff, please.
Okay, Diane.
Thank you. Diane, you got it. Jeff Emden is going to give you a call tomorrow and see what he could do. Jeff, FYI, she's dealt with Peter, I believe, Joel, Wiley. I've sent quite a number of our attorneys and it's never enough. So listen, Jeff, Thank you, Jeff, just for this month, and I guess you'll call back next month. Diane, thank
Thank you,
you.
Jeff.
All right.
All right, so we are going to Maureen Francis and Jamila case in the state of Louisiana. We have another Louisiana case. Maureen Francis has been sending this case for some time now.
Hello?
Maureen, are you on?
Yes, I'm on.
It's
And
good to see
for the
you, Ms.
record,
Francis.
thank you. It's good to see you too. But for the record, this is Maureen Francis, my friend Jamila segment. Let me use her computer. So
Okay,
I want to
good.
let you and clear the record, okay?
Good.
I am so sorry, but you can't call me because my phone is cut off because of my my problems with the state of Louisiana, which is very, very corrupt. As you know, Mr. Perkinson, I was supposed to get my unemployment benefits that I qualified for, but during my unemployment appeal, the judge lied and said I did not participate. I'm representing myself in proper person.
Okay, Maureen, slow down 1 second. Hold on, slow down 1 second. Have you spoken to Joe Schmelken about this case before?
Yes, I have.
You have, okay. Have you spoken to another attorney about this case too?
No, I have not.
No, only Joe, okay. So, do you remember what the last thing Joe told you?
No, not really.
No, okay. I don't want to put Joel on the spot to see if Joe remember. Well, I'm pretty sure he does what he told her. So Maureen, you're looking for an attorney, right?
Yes.
In the state of Louisiana
Yes.
to help with what?
With my unemployment, case number 137609, and also they gave me partial of my retirement benefits. They held the rest, and I still haven't got it.
No, we're fighting for your benefits. We need you to get an attorney. You've been walking this dog for some time by yourself. And I know me and Debbie Clark have been working night and day to get you an attorney in Louisiana. It's not easy. It's not easy, especially if we don't have a chapter on the ground in some of these states. Is very challenging for us as well. So listen, we're gonna keep working on getting you an attorney, Maureen. And you know, you call me every week, so just keep calling me, and Debbie will have an attorney for you soon.
Okay, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Joe. Next up in our legal night is gonna be Stephanie Jackson. Miss Jackson, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
How are you? What city and state are you from, Miss Jackson?
I am from, well, this is on behalf of my brother. We're both originally from California, but this case took place in Nevada, Las Vegas, Nevada.
Okay.
So I have actually been in contact with Robert Bush, and he told me to give you guys a call tonight.
Okay.
The long story short, it has been 16 years he's been fighting this case. He was arrested because the car and the identification that or the description that was placed during the time, it was his actual car, and the description matched him and his best friend, and they look pretty similar. The person that did the actual crimes came forward and told them, but they did not care because my brother was already arrested. He's also submitted affidavits and stuff like that. They still didn't care. They moved forward with my brother's case. Along the way, there were two main witnesses in this case. One went ahead and admitted that they were lying, so they threw that witness out. The other witness that their stories coexisted with the same events, they had the second witness change their story around after the first witness admitted they were lying. And so they can move forward.
Stephanie, slow down for 1 second. Has he been doing, you said this happened 15 years, you said?
No, this has been going on for 16. It happened
16 years.
February 26, 2000. Yes,
Hold
he
on.
is currently incarcerated. He's been incarcerated since 2006.
2006, okay. All right, so I'm gonna open the floor to the attorneys. Thank you, Stephanie, for sharing.
Okay.
I'm sorry you guys are going through that. Any attorney would like to see if we can guide her? I'm thinking it's in Nevada. Gary just gave an attorney for the caller before. You already spoke to Robert Bush. Do you have an attorney for this case?
We currently have two attorneys for this case, but the direction that it is going in, I honestly don't feel like they have my brother's best interest at heart. There's been a lot of evidence that's been thrown out. The lead detective admitted that he arrested the wrong person. There's been people that have come through and admitted that they were lying, like all of this stuff, and it has not at all like gotten him out of this at all. It seems now like as if it's being covered up. I know that Nevada kind of operates on a different system when it comes to like legalities and stuff like that, but like at this point in time, it really just seems like they're trying to make sure that they don't release him because they've had him for 16 years. So that's just not going to look good.
Was this case through Clark County, the county where Las Vegas
Yes.
is located?
Yes.
I know the district attorney's office has a relatively new conviction integrity unit. Have you reached out to them to see if they can be of any assistance in investigating the case? They're supposed to investigate the case separately, and they have actually dismissed cases after convictions when they've learned that that there was some type of misconduct or wrongful conviction.
I do not know if his lawyers have gone through that, but I'll definitely take that information to see if I can talk to them. I just don't, I know that they have a private investigator or whatever his lawyers do, but I just don't feel like anybody's actually like proactively working for my brother.
I'll see if there's some information available online and drop it in the chat. I know they have one. I just don't know the number off the top of my head. But if I can locate one online, I'll drop it in the chat.
Thank you,
Okay.
Attorney Sertain. Stephanie, that's a good idea. Also, again, the 4 steps, you already connected, you spoke to attorney, you connected with the local chapter. Have you reached out to your local elected official?
I do not know their local elective officials because right now I'm in Oregon, but we're originally from California, so I don't know that information.
Okay, you can find that really easy. Google it. But get in touch with us tomorrow, 877-626-4651. We'll try to do that. Also, I know there's groups on the ground in Vegas. It's also fighting against police misconduct and wrongful arrests and convictions. So try to find the groups on the ground, because Nan already stands with you with chapter president Pastor Robert Bush. So we need to build a coalition now to make some noise. And again, guys, everything this is a basic standard operating procedure. So please take the notes and the lessons that we're giving, because a lot of them are the same for your situation. We need to build a coalition. We need to talk to everybody we need to talk to before we could just come out there and help you guys. But Stephanie, thank you very much. We'll follow up with you soon with that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right. Our next caller is Melanie Cooper. Is Melanie Cooper on? Melanie Cooper?
Hi, good evening. My name is Melody Cooper. Melody S. Cooper.
What city and state are you from? We're glad to have you. Thank you for coming.
Well, actually, I reside in Ringgold, Virginia, but I'll be moving soon because of the incident that I addressed at the courthouse with someone. I put out a protection order.
Order of protection.
Because someone was harassing and threatening and damaging my property. And that person is from down here. It's to the point that I went to 3 different jurisdictions and spoke with magistrates against this individual. 2 of the jurisdictions has dropped their restraining order. 1 hasn't, but the second one, which is the area they reside in, I went to court on May 9th, and they gave me a continuance for May 13th at the clerk's office. Then 2 days later, from a deputy brought me another subpoena for the 27th of June, stating that the date had changed. Well, I didn't go to that hearing on the 13th because I had a new hearing stating the date changed. Lo and behold, the gentleman, well, he's not a gentleman, the individual had gotten out of jail 2 days prior to that because my jurisdiction locked him up. And then that Monday on the 13th, he was at the hearing. I wasn't because they gave me the information that it changed. So that Tuesday, I get a text message with the letter, him showing me that they dismissed the restraining order on this individual. Well, I went to the courthouse with my paperwork and documents. They didn't want to listen to me. They didn't want to read my paperwork. They basically brushed me off and told me that I need to appear on June 11th for the summons of show of cause summons for July 11th.
July 11th, that's your next court date?
That is for me for not appearing on the 13th of June. But on July
So you
11th,
calling us to get an attorney? What are you calling us with help for? With
this situation, I would definitely need an attorney because
okay, you don't have an attorney now?
No, I'm actually disabled and I do not have a legal representation. I've spoken with legal aid. They can't assist me because they classify it as criminal. And I also told them that I've been trying to change the date from July 11th because on the 8th, I will be in Minnesota with the Cordell Q Handy and Coalitions of Concerned Mothers. My son, Kwamina Akron, was murdered in Maryland by police officers last year, 2 days after the insurrection. And then in July, when I go to Minnesota, it's because Floyd has a park there that they put up headstones of individuals that have been murdered by police. And I definitely wanted to be there. And I've also tried to change my date for my flight, my return flight from the 11th to the 10th, so that I can be present for this hearing on July 11th.
All right, so listen, we have, again, you guys gonna hear me, 4-step crisis. You don't have an attorney now. I'll get you to speak to an attorney, but first what I wanna do here in this case tonight is connect you with our chapter president in Virginia. Her name is Brenda Coles. She also works closely with me here in the crisis, and she has attorneys on the ground. So that's the only reason why I will defer you tonight to Brenda Coles. So I will put her information in the chat, and you can pick up the conversation with her tomorrow. Is that all right?
Thank you so very much for hearing
Thank
me.
you, and good luck on your court date, July 11th. Any attorneys want to chime in on what she just, anything, share? If not, we are moving on to Miss Cheryl Lynn. Cheryl Lynn, are you still on the call, Miss Cheryl Lynn?
I am, and good evening, and thanks for
Good evening, thanks for
having me.
coming. Thanks for coming. What city and state are you from?
I'm originally from Rahway, New Jersey, and I live in Great North Carolina because I work for the Department of Defense. I'm retired from the military. My case is—
Thank you for your service.
You're so welcome. It was my pleasure. My case is I entered into a business deal that did not evolve 100% in 2013. And I have been trying to get my money back from the individual that I entered this business deal with. I'm ashamed of, but I have started, I have a docket number that I started in Elizabeth, New Jersey, which is Union County. And when I spoke with someone, they did give me the Irving, New Jersey chapter. I hadn't called them yet because I wanted to wait to get on this call. And so I have gotten all the way to the part where the case is in default. I did everything, serving, writing the initial statement and sending everything back and forth to New Jersey, and sent the default paper back and had them served and all this. So now it is in default and I don't know what to do with the next step. And I just got an email from the Superior Court in Union County, Elizabeth, New Jersey, about August the 23rd. It will be go into lack of prosecution because
this case is in Jersey.
That's correct, Elizabeth,
Okay.
New Jersey.
Elizabeth.
Yes, sir.
And your next date is August 23rd.
That's when it's going to be dismissed because I don't know the next step after the default. It's in default right now. It went in default January the 4th. The affidavit of service was submitted by the court on the 24th of January. And that's where I stopped because I don't know what the next step is to do. And I have contacted a lot of attorneys in New Jersey and I've talked to a lot of people, but I can't seem to get on the right track with it. So I just need somebody to
Okay, let me see if one
help
of
me
the
pull
attorneys
my
can help you.
bootstraps up and get in there.
All right, no worries. Also, we definitely have, for everybody on the call, we have very strong chapters in New Jersey. Some of them are just as strong as our New York chapters. So I can connect you also to the chapter presidents in Jersey. I know
Thank
a few
you.
of them. I know a few of them do have attorneys themselves. But I'll defer to the attorneys here tonight in this room on this Zoom to see if they can give you any guidance. Any attorney?
Derek, can you hear me? Can you hear
Yes,
me,
I
Derek?
can, Royce. Thank you, Royce Russell.
So let me just give her my number because I am driving. I told you I had to do multiple things. So let me just give
Go
her
ahead,
my
sir.
number, 718-785-8890. I can shed some light on this next steps, and I can possibly put you in contact with some attorneys. And the reason why I can't put you in contact, I can't tell you the degree of whether or not they will accept your case or not. But I also practice in New Jersey. But some of the civil law contracts and some of the other areas, I don't litigate that much in Jersey in
Yes,
that
sir.
area. But I know enough to help you. All right.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. And I just want to say that we are in baseball season right now. So let's just handle that before you get to the football season. Thank you very
Baseball.
much. Thank
We
you
got a
very
lot of
much.
fans in
And-
this room. Joel's definitely a fan of that baseball. We love baseball here. Yes, we do. So listen, Cheryl, I need everyone. I still need you to connect with your local NAN chapter. Everybody on this call should be a NAN member. It's only $25 for the year. Get with the local NAN chapter. Help us. We need the help. So get us with the local NAN chapter in some capacity. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you,
Yes,
Royce.
sir. Thank you so much. I will definitely go ahead and do that. And I wanted to comment to Mr. Jeff about him talking about the land process. I have been following that for the last 2 years. And when I saw it yesterday, I would have did a backflip, but I'm recovering from knee surgery. And I was really glad to see the outcome of that. So that was really, really a great deal, Mr. Jeff. And I really do appreciate you going out there for them.
Let me just say one more thing. I'm sorry. I will not be in the office tomorrow, but please feel free to leave a message. As they stated, tomorrow's my birthday. I do not work on my birthday.
Well, happy
I will make
birthday.
sure
Yes,
I
sir.
get in contact with you no later than Tuesday, all right? Don't
Yes,
want you to
sir.
be
Thank you.
disappointed by calling and I don't get back to you, all right?
Thank you
Royce,
so
it's
much. I
just another
appreciate
day,
that.
birthday, schmirthday. It's just another day, Royce. No, thank you. Thank you so much for that, Royce. Really appreciate that. Good luck, Cheryl, with your situation. We hope to
Thank
have
you. One more last thing. I am the daughter of the late freeholder Chester Holmes in New Jersey. So I'm just smiling about that, just to say that. Thank you very much.
No, amen. Thank you. We're glad to have you. Look at your daughter of a legend. Look at that. We definitely want you with the organization, sister.
Yeah, I will definitely do that. Thank you so much, sir.
Need to be here. So next up, we're gonna have Quentin Fry. Good, bro. Quentin Fry, been waiting patiently. Mr. Fry. Quentin Fry. Can you take it off mute? I think he's frozen. There you go. He's not frozen. Take it off mute, Quentin. Which city and state you from? Yeah, you gotta take it off mute. It says, there you go. There you go.
All right, there we go. Good evening, everybody. I'm actually from Vegas, so I understand the I'm sorry, what was this? Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm trying to answer the questions. I actually had to go through a process where I currently have a case against a police officer through the Las Vegas Metro Police Department, but I also have had to kind of go after Henderson Police Department because they took a case and a report that had a lot of false accusations and things of that nature. So I spent over 40 days incarcerated, lost my job, whole bunch of different things, dog job, car repo, lost the workman's comp case, all of that combined into a 8-year radius, including today. So with the situation that's going on with the police department, Henderson Police, I'll start there real quick. They didn't investigate the situation correctly. And when they didn't investigate the situation correctly, I didn't know that you can even file reports against policemen until recently. Back in January, I called them trying to explain the situation. the internal affairs is like, we had somebody come and talk and they kind of lied about the situation. And I was like, that's wrong. I even contacted the individual that's over the police department. All they did was told me that I can seal my record, which is wrong in itself also. And I contacted internal affairs again for a second time, thinking I would speak to somebody else. I had some other people in the Metro Police Department trying to reach out to them on their behalf because of the situation that went wrong. Again, the Henderson Police Department did not investigate the whole thing thoroughly. And come to find out, internal affairs kind of like, just like, hey, our officer didn't do anything wrong. And I just said, you know what, I'm just going to file a lawsuit when I get the right attorney and go after you guys for the situation. I wanted the officer fired because of the matter, but also the things are just kind of wishy-washy. This just happened in January for a case that happened about 6 years ago. But currently, regarding the same party, I have a case against the husband because he's a Las Vegas Metro police officer. He did some things regarding like harassment, attempted assault, hate crime, racial profiling, and cyber crimes, and perjury and harassment, all in together. Have a current open case with Las Vegas Metro Police Department, even though they are trying to terminate him as a police officer because the Citizen Review Board and Internal Affairs found out that he lied to both parties. I gave all this information to Robert Bush because he's the person that I was referred to by a local attorney. I don't have the finance to grab an attorney overall in general because of the crisis that I've been through in the past 6 years. So that's pretty much my case with the police department. Again, he's currently going to be terminated. But one of the things that I did tell them, because he's trigger happy, when you Google his name, he's a trigger happy officer. I told them I do not want to be the next George Floyd or, any of the former black men that have, did commit a crime, but wind up serving jail time for a crime that I didn't commit, and or being harassed further, or even some kind of bodily harm regarding myself and this police officer. Again, that's why I kind of wanted to throw out the situation. They're not allowing me to get a protection order because my understanding, they only give it to women and not men. But I've been denied a protection order back in September of last year because I felt like, and he threatened my life in the process of doing things that he shouldn't have did because he didn't let the police department know that, this guy doesn't have an open investigation or whatever the case is, but he was doing a lot of things off duty, got pictures, witness statements, surveillance, and more. Again, my story is just as big as any other African-American person regarding the police department and civil rights violations, and I did the Department of Justice filed a claim against that officer, and in November of last year, they responded saying that they actually opened the investigation. I haven't heard back from the Department of Justice in general, but it's just overall, like you guys said, police misconduct and a whole bunch of things that goes against them. Matter of fact, just last Friday, I went to the police department to file charges, and the young lady was kind of young, and I was like, hey, can I speak to a supervisor? And the young lady kind of was like asking me questions I couldn't answer. But then on the other side, she was like, well, I'm going to go take my lunch, in the middle of me talking about filing criminal charges against the officer and his wife, etc. So I was like, you know what? It sucks that my own people couldn't even help me just even complete a police report, even with all the power and resources and information and witness statements that I have to prove my innocence overall in general on both sides. It still wasn't a win-win. So that's why I was referred to you guys' organization.
Okay.
Sorry, I just talk 100 miles an hour.
I see. You can go. It's okay.
I'm from Chicago.
It's okay. No, you as well articulated. I followed every word you said. I need to ask you, did you reach out to the local elected officials in this case?
Some of them, well, you know what?
The question is, did you reach out to any local elected officials on
for the Henderson side? They have not contacted me. For the Las Vegas Metro side, I'm not sure who's my official for that matter.
Okay. We all need to know, because
I even listened to the Attorney General, but he didn't even. Okay. Never mind that part.
No. We have some ideas. You said you worked with the chapter president out there in Vegas, correct?
Yes, Robert Bush gave me you guys.
He's very good. So I'm gonna let the attorneys chime in first, If any attorney would like to chime in, and then I will give you some more support. Any attorney would like to give him some guidance on what he should do in this situation? Because from what I'm hearing, the officer's being fired. What are you looking to do?
Well, he's worked with his wife used to be an ex-girlfriend of mine. So as I told the police department recently,
this is a love
month,
triangle. This is a soap opera right here. All right, let Joe. Joe, go ahead, Joe.
It's not just a soap opera, it's a criminal matter as well.
No,
it's a criminal matter.
It's a criminal matter.
Yeah.
What did Pastor Bush tell you? What did Pastor Bush tell you?
Well, I just recently was giving him his information, so I think he's been kind of looking at this for about 30 days. It's brand new regarding even the situation with the police department is brand new.
I think he's very good, very competent, and I would start with him. Let him give you some advice. He has some good ideas. He's been with Nan, and I really think that that's really your best bet right now. If all else fails, I mean, I do know some civil rights attorneys in Las Vegas as well, but I think you should start with stay with Pastor Bush first, and if that fails, you can call me if you like.
And you can call me.
So as of right now, real quick, guys, just to answer his question, he said nobody's really looking into it because for a portion that I don't have the finance to have an attorney, but then again, there are certain people that he's looking out further into to see if they can assist. But I was even trying to tell the police department I can blow this up in the media because I have media relations. So there is more to the story than what I've just described, but I just wanted to, put it all into a summary of what I've dealt with and what I'm currently dealing with.
How did he leave it with you when you spoke with him?
I'm sorry, what was that again?
How did Pastor Bush leave it with you when you spoke with him?
We just spoke last week and we talked briefly today because he told me about this Zoom tonight. He just said that he's still looking for people. He may have to go out of town to look. I know a lot of people don't want to touch either or police department.
I understand. All right, but here's what I would do. Let him go the distance with him. Let him see if he has somebody. If he does, fine, stay with him. If not, again, I do know a few civil rights attorneys in Las Vegas, and I can make a recommendation to you as well. But if he started, just let him finish, and then if not, my name is in the chat. Give me a call.
And Quentin, also,
right, cool.
thank you, Joel.
Joel Schmeling.
I want to add on, again, the numbers in the chat, 877-626-4651. I'm gonna have Debbie Clark, crisis coordinator. Also, we've been, again, look, this is one of the states we've been looking for an attorneys to help out with. It's very tough. However, we need you to look to community-based organizations. There are groups on the ground in Vegas fighting against the police.
Well, they didn't want to touch it because there's so many different people, like even the police department saying there's certain people that don't. I've even tried to contact Steve Wynn's attorney, and they didn't even want to talk to me. It's like certain people don't want to talk to me, and then when they actually talk to me and listen to the story, they're like, oh, because that's what Robert Bush did. He was the only person that listened to the story. I've been contacting attorneys since, even through legal aid, since last fall, and nobody contacted me ever.
What I'll do tomorrow, we have a relationship with Attorney Ben Crump's office. He's not scared to touch any case. I'll put it in his, again, all we could do is put it on his plate. We can't guarantee he's going to take the case.
And I even emailed
all I could do is make him aware,
Sure.
and you guys take it from there. But I'll do that for you tomorrow. So follow up with me tomorrow after 1 o'clock.
Okay, we'll do. And thank you guys. I appreciate everything. And good luck to everybody.
Good luck to you. And thank you for your service to our country, brother.
All right, you're welcome.
Yes, sir. All right, moving on. It's 8:30. We don't have too many more cards left. This is great. 5 left, and we are up to Holly Delph. Is there a Holly Delph on the call? Holly?
Yep, that's me.
There she is. How are you, Miss Delph? Where city and state are you from, and what is your legal issue?
I live outside Grand Rapids, Michigan.
Michigan. Okay. We have a strong chapter in Michigan.
You said you had one in Detroit.
Is in Detroit, but that's, Michigan is Detroit's in Michigan. Charles Williams, he's just as big as Reverend Sharpton in Michigan.
Yeah.
He is the Reverend Sharpton of Michigan.
I will give him a call.
He got a radio show and everything to boot. So what is your legal issue, Holly?
I have a daughter who's 26 years old right now. I adopted her when she was 2 years old from Haiti.
Beautiful.
Kept her the whole time. She's very, very disabled. I was on a medical mission there. I wasn't looking for a kid, but it happened. I lived in Salt Lake City, Utah for many of those years, where I raised my birth son also. And then I moved back to Michigan in something like 2004, because I have siblings in Michigan and my son went off to college and I brought Emily with me, Manuela. And that's how I ended up in West Michigan. When a disabled person turns 18, the courts pressure you to do guardianship.
Do what? Say again?
The courts pressure you to do guardianship. Probate courts pressure you to do guardianship. They'll tell you that if you don't do guardianship on your disabled child, adult child, you won't get medical care. Well, since then I have learned that's very false. But that's what they tell you. So I did do guardianship on Emily, which means I was a guardianship of her because she was very disabled, and she is very disabled. She's cerebral palsy, none walking, none talking, very disabled, from Haiti. And yes, she does have a citizenship. She's very legal. When Emily turned 18, that's what I did. When she was around 20, I made a trip back to Utah because my son was having a baby, my first grandchild. And I went back there, picked up a job. I work in the hospitals because that's what I do. I work out of state quite a lot in the hospitals. I picked up a job there because it was my first grandchild. I stayed there. While I was there, when you do guardianship on somebody, you have to fill out paperwork once a year to the courts. The courts don't take care of anybody. They just want their paperwork. I didn't know they got paid for it, but that's what they want. So I sent my paperwork in, but I was in Utah and I had stopped forwarding things because I just hadn't gotten around to it. So when I got the paperwork, I sent the paperwork back to Michigan, and I had my Utah address on it. They sent me paperwork back saying that that's illegal. So I called them. I said, "What's wrong?" And they said, "Well, you had to bring Emily back to Michigan." I'm like, "Why? I'm in the middle of a job and my grandchild's here." They said, "Because you have to get court permission to leave Michigan when you have a loved one under guardianship and you're the guardian." So I'm like, "No, I'm not doing that because it's too expensive and I'm in the middle of a job and I'm here." While I was in Utah, I called the courts there and they said, just do it over in Utah because Michigan's an unfriendly state with this guardianship crap. And I said, okay. But in the meantime, my house that I owned in Michigan, the renter stopped paying. So I decided to pick up and come back to Michigan, fix the house up and sell it. Then I was going to go back out west again because that's where my family is. My son, my new grandchild, and whatnot. But Emily is very disabled. I take her with me all the time because, and no one's had a problem with me being guardian. Once you do it, you do it. I come back and the people here in Michigan are all over my case once they find out my address is back in Michigan. So they pulled me into court.
You mean Utah?
And Michigan. Utah doesn't care.
You said Michigan is mad because your address is back in.
Yeah, I put a Utah address down.
Right, that's what I thought.
Yeah, so I didn't even think about it because you have to do paperwork once a year for guardianship. They just want, they want to know, it's not Social Security. I'm not getting extra money for her. They just have this thing in the courts. And I didn't realize the feds paid the courts big time money for this kind of crap. So I came back to Michigan basically just to fix my house up and get it sold and kick the renters out. I wanted to go back and be with my grandchild and son and daughter-in-law and whatnot, and out that way. Well, while I was here in Michigan, they pulled me into court and said, well, you went across state lines, therefore we're taking guardianship away from you. And they took her.
When was this? What day was this?
What day?
Like what date? Like month? What year? Was it this year?
Oh no, it would have been 2 years ago.
It was 2 years ago, 2020.
Yeah, September 2020.
And you haven't gotten it back since?
No, they assigned a new guardian, a court-appointed guardian, and they put her in a nursing home. She wasn't allowed to power share her toilets. They took her shoes away. She can't walk, but she has
Okay,
braces.
slow down, Holly. Okay, so we got the idea. So you need an attorney to help you get your guardianship back for Emily.
I've had a lot of groups, and there's a lot of groups fighting against this guardianship crap. I'm sure you've heard of the Britney Spears thing, and that's kind of.
But do you need an attorney to help you get guardianship back?
I need someone who actually knows what they're doing. I've
Need
looked
an
at.
attorney that knows what they're doing.
Yeah, and the NAACP is actually saying that they might just actually take up this case because, and I hate to say this, but because they said timing's right. Because yeah, the West Michigan, Grand Rapids is very well known for its racism. And you know, when I was in court and they were questioning me about Emily, they didn't say I did anything wrong. They didn't say I was abusive. They didn't say anything about that. I took very good care of her. That wasn't, and I've always paid to take her out of pocket. I mean, I've always worked full time myself. So that wasn't it. The attorney for supposedly over Emily, his question was, do you think Network 180 is racism? Ask the question, yes or no. That was his question.
Yeah, hold on a second. Let's see if one of the attorneys can have some advice.
So this is, no one wants to fight the probate courts because the probate.
Okay, hold on, Holly. Attorneys, do we have anybody who can help her, guide her to a resolution on how to get guardianship back for her Emily? Any attorney would like to give a stab at that?
This is Kyle Edmonds speaking. Unfortunately, you know, this is much like other parts of the law, state-based. And so, you know, the idea of getting someone local in the area would be the best bet to direct her. She mentioned the NAACP, and getting someone who's familiar not only with the probate court, but specifically as it relates to guardianship would be the route to take. And so any and all resources that you may have that can help her in that direction would be the best. Tough situation, yeah, it can be politics involved, and a lot would require you to stay the course to fight the battle. But you know, you mentioned that the wind is in the sail is in your direction now. Maybe they can be of assistance. It can be an expensive proposition if you could get assistance through an NAACP or organization like that. Obviously, that would be ideal. But I can't tell you specifically as it relates to that particular jurisdiction, obviously, because not licensed there.
Well,
thank you, Kyle. Thank you for that very much. So Holly, I hope you heard his resource and his strategy. I think that's a good idea also to do for next steps. And you definitely need to plug into, I know you said the NAACP may be reaching out and taking on this case because it's the right time for them, but you definitely need to reach out to our chapter in Michigan. Reverend Charles Williams. I gotta say it right? Charles Williams, yeah. Charles Williams. All right, so next up, moving along, we have Sam Sung needs help in Philadelphia. It didn't have a name. We have Sam Sung.
Yes, my name is Mark Little.
Mark, how you doing, Mark? I spoke to you several times as well.
Okay, great.
Glad that you made it tonight. And what is your city and state and your legal issue?
I'm in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I filed a $100 million lawsuit against the police department because they've been allowing me to be suffer being kidnapped and raped under sex slavery. Okay, and I've gone to the police regarding this many, many times. I've brought 14 pair of DNA'd underwear, tape recorder with confessions of people telling me about what they're doing to me. The police have on Broad Washington Avenue, there was a kidnapping there, and there's 26 cameras all around on that, right there on Broad Washington Avenue. and the police refuse to even get the surveillance video. So and basically they're just letting this stuff happen to me. And I've been pursuing them. I've gone to internal affairs. They're telling me that my issues are not an issue for internal affairs. Okay, so if it's not an issue for internal affairs, why don't they give me an FBI referral so I can get the help that I need? But they're not interested in helping me at all. I go in the police station to complain about a rape incident, and they're laughing at me. Here he comes again.
Hold on. But anytime we bring an allegation, we have to have proof. My attorney friends teach me that. I talk to them all the day. They say, Derek, they were going to ask for the proof. Where is the evidence? That's what Joe says to me all the time. So what evidence do you have of this rape?
I have recordings. I have recordings that I
video
found
recordings
on
or
the
voice
internet.
recordings?
I have sound recordings as well.
Recordings.
Yes, I have. I turned over 14 pair of underwear to the district attorney's office, DNA, a tape recorder where the last place I was living at is a rooming house where the owner was talking to me and apologizing to me about what the people in the basement were doing to me. Okay. It's foul. It's all on tape.
I'm sorry you had to go through this. This is terrible. No one should have to go through anything like
No,
that.
they're look, my face is getting infected from taser burns. You know, and I can't stop these people. I took pictures of it. I filed a motion to the federal courts asking the judge to assist me in this matter. Now I filed the complaint back in March, and I was told that he has 2 months to respond, but the judge hasn't responded. And I need to know. I want to file an appeal, compel him to respond. But I need an example of the form. You know.
All right, let me ask you a question, Mark, really quick. Did I connect you with our crisis liaison in Philadelphia, Susan Samuels?
No, you didn't. No.
Okay, that's what I want to do tomorrow.
It's a heavy situation I'm in, but I can't give up on my right to be a man. I'm not going to become bisexual, homosexual, none of that. But I'm going to make the people that's responsible for this answer for it.
No, absolutely. Whoever does anything like that should definitely be held accountable.
Yes.
Kelly just got 30 years. Kelly got 30 years, so he got to be responsible. So yeah, give me a call tomorrow. I'm gonna connect you with Susan Samuels, our crisis liaison in Philadelphia. Our chapter president, Deacon Matthew Smith, passed away a few months ago, but he was the point person. But now Susan Samuels is running the show. So please give me a call tomorrow.
What's the number?
877-626-4651. It'll be in the chat. Thank you, Mark. Good luck. Okay. Got 3 more left. And we have Earl needs an attorney to file a lawsuit against Social Security. Ms. K. Pace, you are next. Stay patient. So Earl, are you on the line, Mr. Earl? Or it could be a female Earl. My aunt name is Earlene. Earl, need an attorney to file a lawsuit against Social Security, not on the line. Okay, that is great. So next up is Ms. K. Pace, and she is in need of a personal injury attorney. Ms. K. Pace, how are you? Thanks for joining. Thanks for being patient. What city and state are you from?
Well, I live in Union City, Georgia, which of course is a suburb of Atlanta, but my case is not a Georgia case. It's a Maryland case, and it's very, very unusual, Baltimore, Maryland. It's a higher education case.
Did I speak to you, Ms. K. Pace?
No, but I sent materials. You might have read all that I sent.
Okay.
Yes, you probably
share your legal issue so we can see if we can help.
Okay, and it's a little complex. I went to Johns Hopkins Peabody Conservatory of Music for a doctorate degree. I didn't really know at that time the racist history, but I was an A student, college teacher when I went there. A 7-year program. I finished the work in the 7 years. We get to the end, and this is old because all of this was going on in 1984, but the problem is still occurring in 2022 because of transcript tampering, and I don't have my degree doctorate degree, even though I have a letter saying that I have completed all requirements. I had to have an arbiter on my dissertation. And that wasn't of my doing, it was because I had gone to affirmative action at Johns Hopkins complaining about racism. And Peabody shut that down, but they said they were gonna have an arbiter come on, outside arbiter, to make a decision about the dissertation. And if he passed me, that would be it. I had to pay half, the school paid half. Well, surprise, surprise, he passed me, said that I was correct. All right. I get this letter saying, congratulations, you've completed all requirements for the degree, inviting me to come back to graduation. Come back to graduation, go through my first graduation at Johns Hopkins, second one, I get pulled out of the line saying, well, you're not going to get anything. So I have a letter.
What year was that?
That actually happened in 1984.
That was in 84.
It was in 84.
Okay.
So we go on, and in about 1989, I'm working at Alabama State University. Controversy comes up there, and someone from Peabody sends a letter, sends something from my transcript saying, I don't have a doctorate, I didn't get my degree. All right. Well, that person comes and takes my job. So the first I'd ever heard that they had put something on my transcript, Kay Pace was allowed to participate in graduation, but she didn't do what she was supposed to do, and so she didn't get a degree. The first I ever heard of it was from my job in Alabama State University. We go on, I go to Morgan State to work. People are asking about the degree. I still don't have doctorate showing on the degree. I go back to the arbiter and ask him, I said, well, what? I mean, you said that I completed everything. He said, I did. He wrote me a letter. He says, she completed everything. I affirmed her. What happened?
What year did he say this?
That was probably in 1990. So
that was in 1990.
Now, 1996, I write for a transcript. It's got all this, Kay Pace did not earn her doctorate. It's written on my transcript. That's not handwriting and put on the back of my
there's something fishy going on. But listen, you got to bring us up to speed. We can't wait to every year. We up into 2022. Where does it stand now?
They took the statement off of my transcript. Don't have my birth year on the transcript. I get so busy changing it, but it still doesn't show my doctorate degree.
And what school is this? What college? What university is this?
How about Johns Hopkins University?
John Hopkins.
Oh yeah, the great old Johns Hopkins.
The big old John Hopkins. Powerful old John Hopkins.
And you can't get a lawyer. Everybody is afraid of them. We found out that they have a Goldgeyer's playbook. One of the attorneys who was dealing with me from there, the playbook, you can Google it, says how to keep complainants from being successful. So Goldgeyer's playbook was in effect. Make sure they don't get a lawyer. Make sure that I'm sorry, I'm missing you. Make sure that the person is discouraged from going forward, and make sure that they don't get a lawyer. This is in a playbook that somebody published because they found out about it, called Goldgeyer's playbook. So they actually were running a scam. Back when I was trying to finish my dissertation, a young Jewish guy wrote me and asked me if he could have my topic because he had heard that I wasn't going to get anything. And I thought he was just crazy. I mean, because I was an A student, award-winning student. Come to find out, so all these years, 38 years, I've been educationally and professionally raped because I went there as a college teacher, but I ended up, because of the transcript, I ended up having to get a doctorate from a lesser school. But here is the prestigious school that would have allowed me to work where I needed to work. And all of these years, so I retired in public school.
Okay, slow down. Okay.
It's complex.
That's quite a lot. That's quite a lot.
It's a lot.
A lot of years, 38 years. And
And they're still doing my transcript right now. And I'm her continuing breach.
No, this is not right. You put the work in to get a doctor's degree. You should have your doctor's degree. This is an injustice. So we're gonna get an attorney to.
If you don't mind, I'd like to interject here. My name's Carlton Smith, and I helped her pull this together here.
Oh, y'all together? Y'all together?
Yeah, yes, he's in Illinois, but he's the one that helped me bring it back.
It's okay. Spirit of Atticus. Okay.
Go ahead, Carlton.
All right. So we're gonna have one of our attorneys see if they can weigh in on this, and we have one more person after this attorney, so we can call it a night if we can help Ms. Kay Pace and get on to the next one. So Gary, Kyle, let's get us out of Peter. You still around? I know Jeff had to go walk his dog.
I am still here.
Okay, Peter. Do you have any advice for Ms. Kay Pace to get her degree after 38 years and they still denying her degree?
Well, certainly there has to be some documentation on it, and
have everything.
Everything. And is there a denial letter from the institution?
No. That's what's so amazing. That's what nobody can really believe this, because you see, they had every opportunity to retract, to tell me, Kay, we made a mistake. The letter that says that you completed all your requirements was a mistake. They could have certainly said that to me. I would have complained. Every time they changed my transcript, wrote on it, put statements on there and sent that out, I had a right to at least be notified. No due process, pulled out of a line at graduation, embarrassed beyond belief.
So you're saying you were denied a PhD, but you went through your dissertation with John Hopkins?
I did, and it was approved.
Okay.
It was approved.
So here's what you're going to do. I just put into the chat my phone number. Call me tomorrow during the day, and I'll give you my information, and we can talk, and you can get me over a few documents. I'm happy to call the school and see what their position is on it. Okay?
All right. And I have a lot of documentation. So if you don't mind, if I could send you everything. So
hold on. He may not need to see everything, but just he'll tell you exactly what to send him when you speak to him.
Okay.
But thank you, Ms. Pace. Thank you, Peter J. Gleason, for saving the day on Ms. Kay Pace from Maryland. 38 years, and they still robbing her for her doctor's degree. That's a shame. Thank you for sharing, Ms. Pace. I have a friend named Ms. Pace too. Okay. So our last call, if anyone else doesn't have any other legal issues, our last legal night caller that we will service until September, correct? Or we come back
July 28th.
July 28th, we come back, and then we off August. So we're not here August, July 28th, and then we take a break off August, come back September. So Cheryl Chapman, granddaughter need a lawyer, LLC in New Jersey. Cheryl?
Yes. Hi, Derek. This is Cheryl Chapman.
How are you, Cheryl?
My granddaughter, she has a business and she needs an attorney with her business. And I was hoping someone there could help her.
She started her business yet, Ms. Chapman?
Yes. She has a travel agent.
Okay. She needs an attorney. Does any attorneys do LLC business in Jersey? I know Royce Russell did say he does some things in Jersey. Okay, what
I could give you the name of an attorney in Jersey who I work with. The name of the attorney is Steve Verano, and the number, which I happen to have memorized, is 973-256-1414. I don't remember many numbers. I remember that one.
And we're lucky you remember that number, because that is the last caller, Cheryl. Please call that number.
One question, Gary, can my granddaughter say you referred her?
Yes, of course. Yeah, certainly do that.
Gary, what's your last name?
Certain, like the word.
Certain. Thank you, Gary.
All right, no problem. Good luck.
Well, if you fancy certain, but listen, listen, we had a great time. Any other questions before we close it out? I just want to acknowledge two people that I didn't acknowledge that they on the Zoom. Our good mayor of Queensbridge, Mr. Rodney Jones, and another Jones, no relation, but she is a National Action Network board member, Ms. Dawn Jones, and also she is the chair of our New York City chapter NAN Political Action Committee. She also helps me on the crisis. She also helps the disability committee. She also be on the stage every Saturday. So Dawn Jones, we're happy to have you here tonight. We're happy to have everyone here tonight. Attorneys, thank you. We're gonna put pressure. Joe, this is what we gotta do. For the attorneys, all the attorneys, we're gonna set up a dinner, okay? And we're gonna squeeze Reverend Sharpton and Attorney Hardy for a big check to feed us one night. Y'all have never done it in the years I've been here. I've been here 4 years. I didn't get one free meal from Reverend Sharpton, and I'm gonna make sure my attorneys get a free meal from Hardy and Reverend Sharpton, because you guys, I appreciate you guys, and you guys do a lot of work. Y'all put up with a lot of stuff, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. And
we appreciate you. Appreciate everybody.
And some of my good attorney friends even takes me to baseball games. So listen.
All right.
I love it. So listen, if everybody was paying attention, most of these attorneys are cancers. Think about it. If you have children, grandchildren, cancers, they're going to end up good attorneys, and they're going to help fight the good fight. So listen, that's our program tonight. I hope to do better next time. Attorney Hardy will be here next time, Joe, and the whole gang. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
So want to say one thing before you close out, Derek? We want to give a hand clap to Derek Perkinson for holding down this legal night for us tonight.
Thank you, thank
All
you.
our wonderful attorneys.
Thank you.
We thank you, we thank you, we thank you. Happy birthday. And yes, I'm a Cancer too, but my time is not up yet. But yeah, Cancers rule. Attorney Hardy, we thank you.
Happy birthday, Joe.
Reverend Sharpton, travel safe. Visit our website.
And Derek, I didn't know have a
huddle every Monday from 6 to 8. Every Monday right here at 106 West 145th Street. Thank you again, Derek Perkinson. Thank you all for joining, and we will see you again. Visit our website, nationalactionnetwork.net, and everyone have a great